The desert night burned with falling fire. A lone streak of white light tore across the black horizon, screaming like a dying god. It wasn't a meteor. Captain Eli Moran knew meteors didn't bleed blue. He stood outside the outpost, visor lifted, eyes wide as the streak slammed into the dunes 3 clicks away and threw a shockwave that made the sand jump beneath his boots. Then came the silence. Eli hesitated only a moment before sprinting toward the crater. His oxygen tank hissed softly in the still air. The stars above reflected on the cracked glass of his helmet. When he reached the crash site, the air shimmered with heat and alien metal, twisted, silver-white, bleeding light from deep wounds in its hull. And there she was. She was lying halfway out of the wreck, pale as the moon, her skin faintly glowing violet under the dust. Her breathing was shallow, almost non-existent, and her veins pulsed with light, soft and fading like embers dying in water. A strange sigil burned weakly on her chest armor. Hey, stay with me," Eli said, crouching beside her. "You're alive. You're gonna be okay." Her eyelids fluttered open, eyes like liquid sapphire, wide, afraid, and ancient. She tried to speak, but her throat made only a broken hum. Then softly, like wind through glass, "Human." Eli froze. Her voice was music twisted by pain. "Yeah, that's me." "You're safe now." She looked at him like she didn't believe it. Her hand, trembling, reached for his faceplate, and he could see that her nails weren't nails at all but faint crystalline crescents. "Too late," she whispered. "The blood needs light." "What?" Her gaze unfocused, and Eli realized the glow inside her veins was flickering faster. He tore open his med pack, scanning for anything that could help. But her biology didn't match anything the systems could read. No compatible transfusion, no standard treatment, just a red icon blinking. Unknown species. Fatal loss of luminic essence. He cursed. "I don't care what your machine says." He pulled out a portable field stim, pressed it to her wrist. Nothing. Her vitals dropped again. She shuddered. "My empire," she gasped. "They will burn the stars. If I die here." Eli blinked, confused. "Empire?" Her eyes locked on his. "You must not let them find me." And then she collapsed. Eli didn't think, he acted. He tore off his glove, grabbed a sterile injector, and sliced his palm open with his knife. Blood welled dark and human. He pressed the injector's tip against her arm and forced the blood through, praying to physics, medicine, or whatever gods watched fools in deserts. The result was immediate. Her body arched, light flaring from her veins like a sunrise, violent and pure. The glow raced through her entire frame, burning through the violet pallor, turning it into something luminous and alive. She screamed, a sound between agony and rebirth. Eli stumbled back, hand still bleeding. His heart thundered, then the light softened. She blinked once, twice, then breathed. A real deep breath. Her eyes found him again. "What did you do?" "Saved your life," Eli said, breathless. She stared at his bleeding hand, then at her arm where the glow had turned crimson at the edges. "Human blood," she whispered, terrified and awed. "You've broken the silence." "The what?" She looked to the sky, tears shining like liquid stars. "Every empire will feel this. My kind." "They will come," Eli frowned. "For you?" She shook her head weakly. "For you. They will hunt the blood that healed a royal heart." And in that moment, the quiet desert around them seemed to listen. Somewhere beyond the clouds, something vast moved, metal, ancient, and watching. Eli had no idea that one act of mercy, one desperate drop of human blood, had just rewritten the fate of galaxies. Eli didn't sleep that night. The alien ship's wreckage burned slow behind him, throwing strange shadows across the dunes. The girl, no princess if her words meant anything, lay wrapped in a thermal blanket inside his shelter, her breathing deep but unnatural. Every few seconds, the faint glow under her skin shifted color, violet, silver, then a touch of human red. He'd seen a lot in his service. Frontier wars, mutinies, strange tech, but nothing like this. The med scanner still flashed that same impossible reading. Human plasma detected, non-compatible and biochemical assimilation, 64%. "She should be dead," he muttered. A soft voice replied. "I was." Eli turned. She was awake, sitting up, the blanket slipping from her shoulders. Her silver hair caught the low light and shimmered like frost.
"Your blood," she said quietly.
"It changed me." He gave a small laugh. "Yeah, well, humans are stubborn that way." But she didn't smile. You don't understand. It shouldn't be possible. She touched her chest where faint light pulsed under her collarbone. Our bodies reject all foreign essence, even other starborn species. But yours, it fused with mine. Eli leaned forward. So what? You're half human now? Her eyes narrowed. If that's true, then every law of the Lumerian thrones just shattered. My people believe purity keeps the stars alive. She paused. If they find I carry your blood, they will burn worlds to erase it. He rubbed the back of his neck. That's dramatic. She looked at him with weary sadness. You don't know my mother. The air between them fell quiet. The desert wind sighed through the cracks in the metal hull outside. Finally, Eli broke the silence. What's your name? Princess Ceres Valurian, she said softly. Then after a heartbeat, you may call me Cirrus. He nodded. Eli Moran, she tilted her head slightly. Eli, it means… What? He chuckled. Old Earth language. Means ascended or something close. My mom picked it from an ancient prayer. Cirrus considered that. A fitting name for one who defies death. He tried not to blush, but her tone, half regal, half fragile, had weight. Then from outside, a sound cut through the air, a deep, distant rumble. Eli's instincts kicked in. He grabbed his rifle and peeked through the crack in the hatch. On the horizon, faint blue lights shimmered like ghosts. A formation, ships, too high for local traffic, too steady for natural phenomena. Cirrus's face drained of color. They found me. How? The Royal Seekers, she whispered. They follow the resonance of our life signatures. But now, her gaze fell on him. Now they'll sense you too. Eli blinked. Because of the transfusion? Yes. You carry the echo now. He didn't have time to ask what that meant because a bolt of blue fire slammed into the sand less than a kilometer away, throwing molten glass into the air. Get down. They ducked as the shockwave hit the shelter, shaking dust from every surface. Ceres gritted her teeth, glowing brighter, the light from her veins reacting violently. They're signaling. They want me alive, and you erased. Eli's grip tightened on his rifle. Not gonna happen. She turned to him, panic warring with pride. You don't understand. They command fleets, empires. Your weapon is… Yeah, he interrupted, checking the charge. And it's pointed the right way. Outside, another explosion tore open the night, closer this time. Through the firelight, shapes began to descend, sleek silver-armored figures with blades of light and wings of metal. Ceres closed her eyes. Eli, if they capture me, they'll drain your blood to erase what you've done. Then we don't let them. She looked at him, startled. He met her gaze with calm steel. I saved your life once, he said. Don't make me regret it. For a moment, neither spoke. Then, without warning, she reached forward and pressed her palm against his chest. A soft pulse of light spread between them, warm, electric. What was that? He asked. A promise, she whispered. If you fall, I fall with you. The outpost walls shuddered as the first alien warrior landed outside. And under the burning sky, a human and a princess stood shoulder to shoulder, an impossible bond between two dying worlds. The first alien soldier hit the ground like a falling comet. Eli felt the impact before he saw it. Sand lifting, the metal walls of his outpost groaning as the being unfolded itself from a shimmer of blue light. It was tall, almost elegant, with armor that pulsed faintly as if alive. Its eyes glowed like two perfect gems. Royal Seeker, Cirrus whispered, voice shaking. One of my mother's hands. The Seeker's voice cut through the air like crystal breaking. Princess Ceres Valurian. By decree of the Lumerian thrones, you are ordered to surrender your body for purification. Your contamination must be cleansed. Ceres's glow flickered. I am still your heir, she shouted. You will not… But the Seeker's eyes shifted to Eli. And the human. The anomaly. Bring him to the cleansing chambers. His blood shall be unmade. Yeah, Eli muttered. Over my dead, the Seeker moved faster than thought. A wave of energy slammed him backward, the rifle ripped from his hands by an unseen force. His chest hit the wall hard enough to rattle his teeth. Ceres screamed something in her own language and raised her hand. The air between her and the Seeker exploded into light, pure, blinding white. The shockwave rippled through the sand and fire. When the glow faded, Ceres was on her knees, gasping. The Seeker staggered, armor smoking. You carry his blood, it hissed. You are not Lumerian anymore. Eli scrambled to his feet, blood running down his temple. His sidearm was gone, but the plasma torch on his belt still blinked blue. He yanked it free, thumbed the ignition, and slammed it into the Seeker's chest. The alien screamed as molten light burned through its armor. The scent of ozone filled the air. It turned, claws flashing, but Saris threw herself forward, pressing her palm to the Seeker's heart. "Sleep," she whispered. The Seeker froze, light dimming. Its body folded in on itself, collapsing into dust and shards of crystal. Silence. Only the distant wind. Eli's chest heaved. "You killed it." Saris stared at her hands, trembling. "No, I unmade it. I shouldn't have been able to." Eli frowned. "But you did." She looked at him, eyes wide and uncertain. "Because of you. The Lumerian cannot destroy their own essence, but your blood gave me a chaos spark. The strength to break our laws." Eli gave a half smile. "Guess human stubbornness is contagious." But Saris didn't smile. "You don't understand, Eli. Every royal seeker is linked to the throne network. The moment one dies, the others feel it." As if on cue, the air above them shimmered. More blue lights appeared in the sky, dozens, no, hundreds, descending like falling stars. Eli's breath caught. "That's not a search party." Saris's voice was barely a whisper. "That's an army." He grabbed her hand. "We have to move." She hesitated. "There's nowhere safe on this world. The Seekers will glass it to dust to erase what happened." Eli's jaw tightened. "Not if we get off it first." She stared at him like he'd just declared war on a god. "You would leave your own world?" He met her gaze. "If it means keeping you alive, yeah." Something flickered in her eyes then. Fear, hope, something ancient and soft. "You risk everything for someone you barely know." Why, Eli's reply was simple. "Because I don't need to know someone to save them." For a moment, silence again, thick with meaning. Then Saris looked up at the falling ships. "Then come," she said, gripping his hand. "If your courage is true, follow me to the stars." The horizon erupted in light. The sand under their feet began to lift, a circle of glowing symbols forming around Saris's boots. The wrecked royal craft behind them hummed to life, its ruined core reacting to her pulse. "What are you doing?" Eli shouted. Saris looked at him through tears. "Something my people forbid. Something only human chaos could allow." The desert exploded in, white, and when the light faded, Eli and the princess were gone, cold. That was the first thing Eli felt. Cold. So sharp it stole breath and thought. Then light. Endless light. When the glare faded, he was standing inside something that wasn't meant for humans. An enormous chamber of crystal and silence, floating in the dark between stars. His breath fogged in the air. "Where are we?" Saris stood beside him, her hair drifting as if underwater. The glow from her veins pulsed brighter now, steadier. "We're aboard my family's ark, the Eclipsera. It drifts between systems. No signal, no gravity, no trace." Eli blinked. "So we're hiding?" "For now," she said softly. "Until my mother's wrath finds us." She moved toward the edge of the chamber. Transparent walls showed rivers of starlight flowing outside. Nebulae, scattered worlds, and the shattered remains of what looked like a space fleet frozen in orbit. "This ship holds the throne's memory," she whispered. "Every triumph, every conquest, every lie." Eli stepped closer. "Lies?" Saris turned to him. "We were told humans were gone. That Earth burned centuries ago after refusing the throne's alliance. My mother claimed she watched your planet's last light fade." Her voice trembled. "But if your blood lives, then so does your world." Eli's stomach tightened. "Earth's alive. Scarred but alive. There's no alliance, no contact with anyone." Saris's eyes widened. "Then the Empress lied to us all." She pressed her hand against a console. The air rippled and a vast image formed, a holographic projection of a regal figure with eyes like suns. Her crown burned with living fire. Her voice echoed through the chamber like thunder in glass. "Saris Valurian, my daughter. You carry impurity in your veins. Return to the thrones, and I will grant you a merciful end. Resist, and I will erase the human who defiled you." Eli's fists clenched. "Defiled? I saved her life." The hologram turned toward him. "You gave her chaos. You infected divine order. Humanity was meant to perish because it could not obey." Saris's voice rose. "Mother." He showed compassion where we would show conquest. His blood healed. "How is that impurity?" "Because mercy breeds rebellion," the Empress hissed. "And rebellion breaks empires." The image flickered and vanished, leaving silence thick as grief. Eli looked at Saris. She's not bluffing, is she? No, Saris whispered. She'll burn entire systems to erase what you represent. He exhaled slowly. Then we hit first, she turned sharply. What? You said this ship holds every throne memory, right? That means secrets, truths, maybe even their weaknesses. Saris hesitated. You would strike at the Empress of 1,000 worlds? He smiled faintly. I was a miner before a soldier. We're good at breaking things people say can't break. Something changed in her then. The fear in her face softened into resolve. Then we'll show the stars what one drop of human defiance can do. She led him down the shining corridor. Symbols came alive under her feet, responding to the mixed pulse of her Lumerian and human blood. Doors opened, revealing chambers filled with stasis pods, archives, relics older than Earth itself. At the heart of it all, a great sphere pulsing with light. Saris approached it reverently. This is the throne core. Every edict, every voice of command flows from here. Eli circled it slowly. Can you access it? Not fully, she admitted. But your blood's chaos might let me open what no royal can. He smirked. Guess it's time to donate again. She looked at him, almost smiling. You're reckless, he shrugged. You're welcome. Saris raised her hand, and for a moment their palms met, her light, his warmth. The throne core trembled, responding to that impossible union. A hum spread through the ship, deep and resonant. Then, for the first time in Lumerian history, the throne's heart recognized a human signal. Across the Empire, royal networks flickered. Command codes reversed, fleets turned aimless, and in the Empress's palace, alarms screamed. Saris's voice was low, trembling with awe. Eli, you've just declared war on the Infinite. He smiled, weary but proud. Good. Then maybe the Infinite will finally listen. The Lumerian Empire had never known chaos. For 10,000 cycles, every command had flowed from the throne like scripture, instant, absolute, unquestioned. Worlds rose and fell on the Empress's word. Stars themselves bowed to her fleets, but on the third day after the Eclipser awoke, the stars began to disobey. Across the Empire, drones halted mid-flight. Royal edicts contradicted themselves. Entire fleets hovered in confusion, their pilots staring in disbelief as their orders vanished. And somewhere deep in the network's core, a voice, human, defiant, warm, echoed through the silence. Mercy is not weakness. It's the one law you can't break. The Empress felt it like a wound, her throne chamber cracked with living light. Find them, she whispered to her priests. Find my daughter in the defiler. I will carve the blood from his bones. On the Eclipsera, Saris and Eli watched the chaos unfold. Projected hollows floated before them, fleets stalling. Commands looping endlessly, AI minds questioning their purpose. Saris's eyes were wide. Eli, you didn't just disrupt the throne. You infected the core with emotion. He gave a small grin. Guess the system wasn't ready for empathy. Her lips parted in a faint, disbelieving laugh. You've made the most feared empire in the galaxy feel confused. Eli leaned back against a console. Confusion's a good start. Means they're thinking for themselves. She turned toward him, the soft light from her veins illuminating her face. You're strange, Eli Moran. Your kind builds machines and then gives them hearts. He smiled faintly. Yeah, we mess up a lot, but sometimes we get the important stuff right. Her expression shifted, sad, tender. Your world was supposed to be extinct, but I see now why the Empress feared you. She feared us. She feared that kindness could travel faster than conquest. For a long moment, the hum of the ship was the only sound. Then alarms began to blink crimson. Saris's smile faded. They've found us. Eli glanced at the scanner, dozens of Lumerian dreadnoughts emerging from slipspace surrounding their coordinates. That was fast. They tracked the pulse of the throne core. We can't jump again without tearing the ship apart, so what do? Saris looked at him, her eyes glowing brighter. We show them what your blood can do. He blinked. What are you? She pressed a crystal shard into his hand. This contains the broadcast channel of the Empire. If you connect it to your neural link, the system will read your emotional imprint as command input. Eli frowned. You mean it'll feel what I feel? Yes, she said softly. If you speak through it, the core will carry your heart across every Lumerian ship, every soldier, every world. But be warned, what you send cannot be taken back. He looked down at the shard, glowing faintly red now from his touch. And if I mess it up? Her hand brushed his. Then I'll fall beside you. Outside, the dreadnought's lights flared, weapons charging. Eli swallowed. Okay, let's make history the weird way. He closed his eyes and pressed the shard to his temple. A pulse of energy rushed through him. Cold, infinite, alive. For a moment he saw everything. Billions of lives bound in obedience, whole worlds trembling under royal decrees. And at the center of it all, a great loneliness, the kind born from 1,000 years of silence. He opened his mouth and spoke. People of the stars? His voice echoed across light years. You don't know me. I'm just a man who tried to save a dying stranger. My blood didn't make me powerful. It just reminded her what life was worth. Your Empress wants you to fear that. Don't. The Lemurian networks pulsed. Soldiers stopped mid-battle. AI cores flickered with warmth instead of code. Eli's voice softened. If mercy is rebellion, then maybe rebellion is what your hearts were waiting for. The shard shattered in his hand. The signal went silent. Sarah stared at him, awed. Eli, you just spoke to an empire. He gave a small, tired smile. Let's hope they were listening. Outside, the dreadnoughts didn't fire. They just hovered, drifting, confused, hesitant. Some even turned away. Saris whispered, They felt you. And for the first time in her life, she looked at her empire and saw something she never thought possible. Doubt. The sky broke open. A column of golden fire split the void as the Empress's flagship descended. A structure so vast it looked less like a ship and more like a city carved from starlight. Its presence warped the air, bending even the Eclipsera's ancient hull. Saris's voice was barely a whisper. She's here. Eli stood beside her at the observation deck, jaw set. Good, saves us a trip. She turned to him sharply. You don't understand. The Empress doesn't come to talk. When she moves, stars die. He looked at her, calm but resolute. Then let's make her listen before she kills us. The Eclipsera trembled. Beams of light lanced through its hull, carving corridors of molten glass. In their wake, golden armored figures emerged, tall, perfect, expressionless. The royal guard of the thrones. At their center walked the Empress herself. She was magnificent and terrible, wrapped in living light. Her crown shimmered like a small sun, and when she spoke, the air vibrated. Daughter, step forward. Saris obeyed slowly, head bowed. Mother, you are tainted, the Empress said. Your pulse carries human filth. You will submit to cleansing. Saris lifted her chin. If purity means killing the only man who showed me compassion, then I'd rather stay unclean. The Empress's gaze slid to Eli. For a moment, the room seemed to bend under the weight of her attention. You are the human anomaly. Eli nodded slightly. And you're the one calling compassion a disease. Her voice was quiet and deadly. Do you know what your blood has done? My fleets no longer obey. My world questions my will. All because you bled where you shouldn't have. Eli took a slow breath. Maybe that means your empire was waiting for a reason to feel. The Empress's hand twitched and the air burned. Eli was flung to his knees by invisible force, his chest screaming with pressure. Sarah shouted, trying to reach him, but guards restrained her. Your species was extinguished for its arrogance, the Empress said coldly. You thought chaos could equal order. You believed love could tame war. You are proof that mercy breeds rebellion. Eli forced himself to look up. Or maybe mercy breeds life. Her power tightened, his vision dimmed. Then suddenly the golden light faltered. The Empress gasped, clutching her chest. The glow in her veins flickered crimson. Saris's eyes widened. Mother, stop! His blood, it's echoing through you. The Empress staggered, horrified. Impossible! Eli collapsed, gasping but still conscious. The shard from earlier, the broken fragment of the broadcast crystal, had embedded in his chest during the fall, its glow faint but alive. His blood had seeped into it, pulsing outward in invisible waves, and those waves were touching the Empress. Her golden aura dimmed further, turning soft, human red at the edges. She looked at her own hands in disbelief. What is this warmth? Saris moved closer, voice trembling. It's what you erased from yourself. It's what you called weakness. You're feeling, Mother. The Empress's eyes shimmered with something that looked almost like fear. I feel? Tears began to well, golden, luminous tears falling onto her armor. I feel every voice in the Empire, she whispered. Fear, hope, guilt, so much pain I never saw. Her power flickered again, weaker now. This is unbearable. Eli, barely standing, said softly, "It's not unbearable. It's real." "That's the difference." Saris caught her mother's hand. "You taught me that perfection was survival. But you forgot that compassion is perfection." The Empress looked between them, her daughter glowing with mixed light, the human barely standing but unbroken. "You would destroy me for this. Sickness?" Eli shook his head. "No, we'd save you with it." The Empress's voice cracked for the first time. "Then show me how." Saris reached forward, taking both their hands, hers glowing violet, his bleeding red, the Empress's golden. The three lights intertwined, swirling into white brilliance that filled the chamber. Every ship, every throne, every soldier across the Lumerian expanse felt it, an overwhelming wave of warmth and clarity that no weapon could stop. When the light faded, the Empress stood silent, eyes closed. Her crown no longer burned. It glowed softly, gently. For the first time in millennia, she whispered not as a ruler but as a mother. "Perhaps. Humanity was never our enemy." Eli exhaled, his strength failing. Saris caught him before he fell, holding him close. "You did it," she whispered. "You changed her," he gave a weak smile. "Guess even empires just need a little heart." The silence that followed was not the silence of fear. It was the silence of breath, the pause after something impossible, the stillness before a new heartbeat. The Eclipsera's vast chamber shimmered with white light, fading slowly as if the universe itself were exhaling. The Empress of the Lumerian throne stood motionless. Her golden armor, once radiant with fire, now dimmed to soft amber. The glow in her veins had settled into something human, fragile, alive. Before her, Saris cradled Eli in her arms. His breathing was shallow, his skin pale, streaked with both human blood and threads of faint light. "Eli," she whispered, voice trembling.
Stay with me. He tried to smile.
"Not going anywhere. Just need a moment." But even as he spoke, the ship itself seemed to react. The throne core pulsed gently, harmonizing with his slowing heartbeat. Across the galaxy, the echo of that pulse spread like ripples in a pond. On distant worlds, soldiers paused mid-war, lowering weapons they no longer remembered why they held. AI fleets halted bombardments, their code rewriting in real time. Planets once enslaved under golden banners watched the skies flicker, and for the first time saw no warships coming. The Empress stepped forward slowly. Her voice was quiet, stripped of command. "Your blood carries something my kind could not imagine. It made me see what my empire became, a mirror without warmth." Eli looked up at her weakly. "Then change it." "I cannot," she said softly. "Not alone." Saris looked up at her mother, tears glistening. "You are not alone anymore." The Empress met her daughter's eyes, and for the first time in 10,000 years she smiled. "Then let it be written, from this moment no throne shall command a soul." She extended her hand. The sigil on her palm, the mark of absolute dominion, flared one final time before dissolving into dust. The chains of empire woven through light years of power disintegrated with it, and the Lumerian Empire, which had ruled for millennia through fear, ended itself in a single heartbeat. The core flared again, its brilliance too bright, too pure. Eli's chest rose sharply, pain flashing across his face. Saris's hand tightened around his. "Eli, what's happening?" He tried to answer, but light spilled from the wound in his chest, rising upward like smoke. The fragment of the shard, what was left of the broadcast crystal, was glowing again, feeding on the connection that bound his blood to the Empire's network. "It's taking me," he whispered. "It's rewriting everything through me." Saris shook her head, desperate. "Then stop it. Please stop it." He met her eyes, soft, steady, full of warmth. "If I stop it, the change stops too. This is how it lasts." Her tears fell on his hand, glimmering like tiny stars. "You'll die." "Maybe," he breathed. "But I'll live in them." The Empress watched silently as light enveloped him. For once her voice trembled, not with power but with sorrow. "He will become the signal. The universe will remember." Eli's final words were barely a whisper. "Keep being better than us." Then the light consumed him, gentle, blinding, endless. When it faded, he was gone. Only the faint crimson shimmer remained, absorbed into the throne core. Saris knelt in silence, trembling. The Empress placed a hand on her daughter's shoulder. He gave us what we never deserved, a chance. Saris rose slowly, eyes shining with mixed colors, violet, gold, and faint human red. Then we honor him. We rebuild in his name. She turned to the stars, her voice steady. Let the age of mercy begin. Across the void, the stars pulsed once, synchronizing with her words. Worlds long divided by conquest began to send messages of truce. Old enemies became students, trading stories instead of fire. And through the newly united network, a single voice whispered forever, sometimes in static, sometimes in starlight. Kindness is stronger than empires. Saris looked out at the endless dark, a faint smile on her lips. I know, she whispered back.